Hello, Coach Holmes here, and today we're going to be talking about angles as far as measuring angles and finding the missing angle. Now, first off, what is an angle exactly? Well, an angle is space between two rays. Okay? So if you think about it like this, so imagine if we had two rays that intersect each other at the same spot as far as their endpoints. This right here is an angle, okay? That amount of space is what is the angle. And as far as what the measurement angle is, we usually measure it in degrees. So like 180 degrees is an angle, 90 degrees, 72 degrees, 27 degrees, 175 degrees. Those is how we measure angles. Okay? Now, so I'm going to label this real quick. Okay? So those are my labels. Let me also label this. Okay? Let's make it a 1. There we go. That way we know it's a 1. Okay? So now there's different ways of identifying angles and how we look at it. So looking at this picture, one way we can identify it is by saying angle 1. Given that it gives us a number, okay? Now, as long as it doesn't have a degree, it's not really the degree. So this 1 is just a way of labeling it. So we can call this angle 1. Another way we can call it, and we rarely use this, is by saying angle M. If we're just given, so for example, if we're just given that M, then we may call it angle M. But 99% of the time, we're not going to label it as angle M. Majority of the time, and how you normally see it, is by saying angle AMY or angle YMA. And either way you put it, they're going to be the same. The biggest key is that this point M right here is called a vertex. It's basically like a corner, okay? It's just a corner. And typically your vertex is always going to be in the middle, okay? So it doesn't matter if the A is first or last, just as long as your vertex is in the middle, okay? So that's the biggest thing we got to keep in mind. Now, there are different types of angles, and you guys seen this before. So if you think about what this is called, just give you a couple of seconds, what do you think it is? This is called an acute angle. Because remember, anything less than 90 degrees is an acute angle. And we always refer to this as being a right angle. Now, one thing to keep in mind though, is that anytime you see a box, automatically think right angle. If it doesn't have a box like that, if it doesn't have a square box, you cannot, and I repeat, cannot assume that it is a right angle. In order for it to be a right angle, or at least on paper, you have to know that there is a square box there, okay? As long as you have a square box, you have a right angle. Now, this type of angle, that is a whole lot more than 90 degrees, but it's still less than 180. This is called a obtuse angle. Remember, obtuse angle is anything more than 90 degrees and less than 180. And I forgot to mention, the actual measurement for a right angle is 90 degrees exactly. If it's exactly 90 degrees, it is a right angle. Now, you probably wouldn't expect this to be an angle, but it is. A straight angle, also referring to pretty much a straight line, anytime you have a straight angle like this is 180 degrees. So anything exactly 180 degrees is just a straight angle. So typically we're not going to see this as an angle as much less measuring it. But be aware that we could possibly see this around. Matter of fact, the last problem will actually see something like that. Excuse me, not 72, not my notes. 62. Now, so real quick, what I want to be able to do is I want to find the missing angles. Okay? I want to be able to find my missing angles. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to find angle A, B, C. So if you remember the segment addition postulate, if you add one part of the distance to another part of the distance, you get the whole distance. So if I have one part of the angle and the second part of the angle, I get the whole angle if I added them together. So 57 plus 67 is going to give me 124 degrees. So angles ABC is 124 degrees. Now, if I look at this angle right here, I only have one part of the angle. But notice that I'm given the full angle. So angle XYZ, this whole thing is 62 degrees. So if I get the whole thing in one part, I can subtract the difference to get the other part. So 62 minus 36 is going to give me 5, 12, 6, 2. So angle XYW is 26 degrees. Now, one thing I do want you to keep in mind is that when we label angles, by the way, we label it like this. Just a small little acute angle. Okay? That lets us know that this is an angle XYW. Right there. XYW. Okay? So anytime we label angles, it's a little small acute angle. Now, what about a little bit of algebra? This is going to be a little bit tricky, but the idea is still the same. I'm given two parts, but they're algebraic. So remember, if I add these two together, I get the whole angle. So 9x plus 11. So this one part plus, the second part equals the whole angle. Okay? So I don't really have to do anything with the parentheses. I can just drop them. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Now, once I set it up like this, I just got to remember to combine like terms. So 9x plus 7x, 16x. 11 minus 5 is positive 6. So then I got to subtract 6 from both sides. So 16, and then if I divide 16 to both sides, I'll be able to get x equals 6. Now, however, this is not my angle. So if I want to find, just put this, if I want to find angle PQS, I gotta replace the 7 with a 6. I gotta replace the x with a 6, not a 7. I gotta replace the x with 6. So 7 minus 6, 7 times 6. I'm so sorry. I'm messing up on, I didn't mean to mess up like that. 7 times 6 is 42. Subtract that from 5, and we get 37 degrees. So angle PQS is 37 degrees. Now, in order to find angle SQR, I just got to replace the x with 6. My mind is off. Remember, gotta replace the x with 6. So 9 times 6, that's gonna give me 54. I was right. Plus 11, that gives me 65 degrees. So angle SQR is 65 degrees. Let me rewrite that 5 real quick. Okay. So we do got to make sure that when we find x, we got to plug it back in. Now, what about this one? Well, I don't really necessarily, it doesn't really tell me for sure what the exact angle is, but if you think about it, this straight line right here, we know it's 180. So one part plus the second part gives me a straight line, which means that they should add up to 180. Okay? I don't have to worry about anything with the parentheses. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay? Now I just got to combine like terms. So I got the 10x with the 4x to give me 14x. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Now I just got to combine like terms. So I add 2 to both sides. 14x, get that cancel out. 182. So now 182 divided by 14 is 13x. Okay? And that's all I'm going to be worried about right now. I just want you to be able to solve for x on this one. Because, now if it was asking you to find the missing angle, remember, I just got to replace the replace the x with 13. So in this case, it would be 10 times 13, 130 minus 5, which is 125. Okay? And then to solve this angle, 4x plus 3, well remember, it's 4 times 13 plus 3. And that's going to give you the two missing angles. So just be aware that even with angles, given two parts gives you the whole angle. Okay? Thank you, and have a good day.